The antique shop wasn't where I intended to be that day. I ducked inside to escape the biting winter wind, my cheeks raw and fingers numb. The place smelled of old wood and memories, and the air carried a strange, almost electric stillness. My eyes wandered over the cluttered shelves until they landed on a clock. It wasn't ticking, but somehow it drew me in. Its golden filigree seemed impossibly intricate, the kind of detail that made you wonder how anyone's hands could craft something so delicate. The face of the clock had an otherworldly glow, its hands frozen at some random moment in the past. But as I stared at it, I felt a strange pull in my chest, like the clock was alive, waiting. "What's the story behind this one?" I asked the shopkeeper, an old man with sunken eyes that seemed to see right through me. "That clock," he said, his voice low and deliberate, "isn't for telling time. It remembers it." I frowned. "What does that mean?" "It shows you what you've forgotten," he said, "or what you missed, or what's still to come. But it's not a gift, it's a warning." I should have walked away. I should have laughed it off and left the shop, but I didn't. Something inside me couldn't. I bought the clock, handed over cash without even bargaining, and carried it home like it was a fragile secret. Once I set it on my kitchen table, I couldn't take my eyes off it. The room was quiet, save for the hum of the refrigerator, and then the hands moved. Slowly, at first, backward. They spun faster and faster until they stopped, 2:43 p.m. The air shifted. My heart pounded as the walls of my kitchen dissolved, replaced by warm sunlight and the faint smell of fresh-cut grass. I was in a park. My hands trembled as I realized where I was, or rather, when I was. It was the summer I had loved Alex. He stood there, holding out an ice cream cone, his kind eyes crinkling at the edges. I saw myself younger, happier, laughing as I kissed him. I remembered this day. It had been perfect, but now, watching it, I noticed something I hadn't before. His smile faltered for just a moment, and his eyes held something I couldn't place at the time: sadness. The scene blurred, shifted. Now it was raining, and Alex was at my doorstep, soaked through, his face pale and drawn. He was trying to tell me something, but I hadn't let him. I had been too angry, too hurt. I remembered slamming the door, the echo of wood meeting wood louder than anything he could have said. And then the memory struck me like lightning. Hours after that fight, Alex had been in the accident. He had never walked again. The air shimmered, and I found myself in a hospital room. The smell of antiseptic burned my nose. Alex lay in a bed, older now, frail, but still him. His eyes met mine, and they softened in a way that told me he still saw the me he had loved. "You came back," he said, his voice weak but steady. I don't understand," I whispered, my words choking me. The room faded, and I was in my kitchen once more. The clock sat silent, its hands frozen. But I wasn't the same. I understood what it had shown me. Time isn't a straight line. It's a maze of doors, some locked, some ajar, all waiting for us to choose. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed my phone, my hands trembling, and dialed the number I hadn't called in years. "Alex?" I said when he answered, his voice rough but unmistakably his. "It's me. I've been thinking about you." For the first time since I had brought it home, the clock on the table began to tick.